Time to continue our Rambler Insider Series presented by NovaCare. I'm Sam Levitt from the Ramblers Sports Network, and joining me today is Ramblers women's volleyball head coach, Amanda Berkley. Coach, first and foremost, hope you and your family are healthy and doing well. What's it been like these days, and how's it been running your program remotely?
It's been a challenge at times. It's definitely been a weird way of coaching and figuring out new ways to connect with the players, but it's been really good. We've been able to spend some time on things maybe we wouldn't normally spend as much time on during our spring season. So we spent a little bit more time on culture and how to have a great winning competitive culture with our team. And so that's been really good. But so far, so good. Everybody's healthy and everybody's working hard. It's just a strange time.
Your group in 2019 truly had a terrific season, even in calling the games around the Valley last season. I kept hearing about the Ramblers and how your team was developing. You went 14-4 in Valley play, those 14 wins, a program record in conference play. Looking back at it now, how would you sum up your season?
It was great. I think it was definitely a surprise because we weren't quite sure how it was going to go with 7 new freshmen and also 7 seniors with a couple juniors in between. But it was really cool just to see how competitive the team got, to see the seniors have a lot of great success as well and see some really good performances from several of them. But it was just awesome to break records and have such a great season with such a new group of people playing together.
And we'll talk about 2 of those freshmen, Addie Barnes and Taylor Venuto, who were just terrific last season in a little bit. I wanted to talk to you about the improvement for this program over the last few years. 5 wins in 2017 in the season before you were named head coach. Then you have 21 last year. That's a 16-win improvement, tied for 3rd best improvement in the nation during that time. Looking back at when you arrived at Loyola, what's the biggest difference between then and now?
I think the biggest difference is just they're having fun playing volleyball again. I think they lost a little bit of that, and we always had talented players on the team, and it was just getting them to really find the joy in playing volleyball again. And I think they are doing that, and now we're kind of transitioning to get into really competitive and wanting to win championships. So we were able to have them have a little bit more excitement with the team, but then now we're starting to build towards competitiveness and really challenging for a conference championship. And so it's been really cool to see that and see kind of the shift that we've had in our program.
And with the youth on your team, and as those players get a little bit older, heading into the 2020 season, where do you see that development taking place? What's the next step for your program heading into this fall?
Well, unfortunately, we lost a lot of the development process with this spring. That was going to be a huge thing for us, especially with having so many freshmen, having 7 freshmen. That spring is always super important. We did get some good work in before everything changed. And so we've really just kind of been focusing on the culture piece and having them learn how to be leaders, because we had some really strong leadership with the seniors that graduated. So we're kind of developing some more leadership skills for some of the younger players and some of our seniors that are returning. And so we're kind of working that way with the development piece instead of maybe on the court. It's just really mental focus and leadership.
From the physical standpoint and the volleyball standpoint, like you said, this time brings a lot of different challenges to staying sharp physically and in a volleyball sense. What has your message been to your players about staying sharp in the volleyball sense? Because it is a team sport. I would imagine it is a little bit hard to practice on your own. What's been the message in that sense?
Yeah, we've definitely, as soon as it happened, we made sure to say, like, this is going to be really important for you all to be motivated by yourselves to practice as much as you can and work out as much as you can. Now, practicing volleyball is a little bit different. You usually need someone else to be able to play. You need someone to pass it to you or to set it to you. And then you also need a net. So we've given them some ideas of some things that they can do on their own, like passing to themselves, setting to themselves. And then I said, get creative. We've seen lots of things on social media about people doing different things and creating different, training aids that can help them. And so just trying to get the message across that everybody's going to be in the same boat, but we want to make sure that our team is a step ahead of everybody because we're putting the work in now and on our own.
And I've had that same conversation with men's volleyball head coach Mark Hulse about how to stay sharp and some of the things their players are doing as well. You can't talk about your team in 2019 without mentioning Addie Barnes and Taylor Venuto, a pair of freshmen who weren't just two of the best freshmen in the Valley, but two of the best players in the Valley. Let's start with Addie Barnes, the MVC Freshman of the Year. Your thoughts on her season?
She had a great season. I think we knew coming in that she was going to do some really good things for us because she's a 6 rotation outside hitter who can jump, and she's got a whip of an arm. And just really proud of her and how she was able to kind of just step into a pretty big role for us and do it really well. I was hoping that she could be named the MVC Freshman of the Year and was really pleased that she was able to do that. But she just is someone who's has that competitive fire and is willing to do whatever it takes to win. And I'm excited to see what happens because that was a great freshman campaign, and I think it can only get better as the years go on.
And she's somebody who you recruited from Wisconsin, not too far away from Chicago and Rogers Park. Of course, you're a Wisconsin native. How important is that to the program moving forward, recruiting from the Midwest and around Chicago?
That's one thing that's really great about Loyola is that the volleyball around the area around Chicago is really, really strong. When I was at Southern Mississippi, we would come up to Chicago just to recruit players and come up to Wisconsin. So it's huge to be able to continue to recruit the Midwest. And I think we've been able to do that and get some really good players. I mean, Loyola is such a great place to go to school and get a great education. And so we've been able to use that education as a draw for a lot of recruits.
And we've talked about that with a lot of the different head coaches during this Rambler Insider Series about recruiting Chicago and how the advantage of being in Chicago can really play a big role for Loyola as a whole. Taylor Venuto, of course, that other freshman who just had a terrific campaign, also a first-team All-MVC member, led the conference with a .346 hitting percentage. What stood out about Taylor's season?
I think Taylor, I think we knew she was going to have a good season for us as well, but she's one that just is a winner. She's going to do whatever it takes to win. I mean, we see that in practice. Occasionally I've had to set in practice, and when I set her, she gets a kill. And I think, based on her hitting percentage, that just shows that if you set her, good things are going to happen. But she's one that's just pretty fearless. She just does what she needs to do. And I think this spring you started to see her really take off with her ability of just blocking wise and attacking wise. But she's someone that I think had just a great freshman campaign, didn't play like a freshman at all. And that's the same thing with all of our freshmen. They didn't play like freshmen. They played like upperclassmen, and that's what we needed this season. And it was really cool to see that.
And I guess from that standpoint, I know when you recruit players, you always have high expectations, always have high hopes for what they'll be in that freshman season and beyond. But were you a little bit surprised with how well those two freshmen, Barnes and Venuto, played and how great they were really from the get-go?
Yes, I think so, because I've coached a lot of different freshmen, and we've talked about this with other coaches in our conference, and they usually have like the freshmen, I don't know, they're timid sometimes, or they just, they make mental mistakes, and those two really didn't do that much. They were pretty strong throughout. So I think I was definitely surprised at how, for the consistency throughout a whole long season, that they were pretty mentally tough and competitive and played well throughout.
And especially impressive when you consider just getting acclimated to college and the academics that a school like Loyola provides. So certainly just a tremendous season for those two players in Venuto and Barnes. I want to talk a little bit about your relationship with your sister, Suzy Johnson, who's the head coach at the University of Milwaukee. What's it been like having a sister combination in the D1 ranks, and how much do you guys talk during the course of the season?
Yeah, it's awesome to have someone that can be a mentor for you that's a family member. She has been doing it a long time, and so it's been nice. Throughout the season, I talk to her almost every day because there's always something that you want to bounce ideas off of, or if you have a situation that you need some help with. she's been there to help me with that. And so it's been really cool, and to celebrate their seasons too, and watch how they do. It's been really beneficial to both of us, I think, to have a sister that's in the business and someone who can help us with any situation. But it's been really cool, especially they had a really great season last year, and so that was really fun to see, going from maybe a challenging year to a really great season.
Well, certainly a very cool relationship to have that, really a short distance as well between Milwaukee and Chicago. Finally, I know you have some very exciting recruits coming into the program in 2020. What's your feeling about this group heading into the summer and hopefully into the fall season, and some of those new faces you have coming in?
Yeah, we've got quite a few new faces. We've got 8 freshmen coming in,
Wow.
and yeah, so it's going to be a brand new team, and very young, because we'll have 7 sophomores, 8 freshmen. So it's going to be another challenge of getting a team that doesn't really know each other ready to play together in the fall. But we're really excited about a lot of the freshmen that are coming in. We're just getting more depth, and just I think it's going to be a cool change just to bring in some new faces. So yeah, very excited about the incoming freshman class.
A lot of very talented incoming freshmen coming in, and now you have those cornerstones in Venuto and Barnes, who simply had terrific seasons in 2019. Amanda Berkley, the women's volleyball head coach at Loyola, joining us on this Rambler Insider presented by NovaCare. Coach, we appreciate you joining us. Best of luck with everything coming up, and hopefully we'll talk to you again down the road.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.